Okay, we're just going to have a look at this study here about, we had a go last week with the demo account, just just putting lines on for the entries and the exits, so we had to play around with that. Now we're going to try putting orders on. So we've got, so just as a refresher, we had, like, this is what we were doing, we're putting the stop like that just as a red line, and it wasn't meant to be realistic, it was just meant to be an exercise in psychology and managing trades and that sort of thing. So now we're going to make it a bit more realistic now, and we're going to put on orders and manage the portfolio a bit more realistically. It's still not realistic as but it's not meant to be. It's just meant to be a study, and to get over some psychological issues and improve confidence in placing trades and portfolio management. These are all the problems that people have. We're going to try and address some of those issues before. There's no point going on to advanced methods if people are still having trouble with the basic psychological issues. So here we have UWT as an example. So that was just closed out last week, as you can see on our study here. So then the mate of UWT is DWT. So we're going to put an order on for DWT now. So this is our order here. Now this is going to start. This is going to be ready to go when the market opens. See, we've got this. We've just put this on right now. This is just before the market opens in the US on Monday. So you put it on. You just put buy on here, right? It's very simple. And then when your order ticket comes up, it's going to look like this. So we want to click on stop. We want to click on. We want to have 2% risk, right? 2% risking only 2% of the account per trade. This is one of the main reasons why people blow up accounts. They try to go too big, too soon, and this is the way you trade. Start off a portfolio properly, right? So we've got 2% risk, and our stop loss we're putting on a bracket, what's called a bracket trade. We put the entry order and the stop on at the same time. So you just put in your stop level here, right, and which is 633, right, and your order, your buy limit order, right, is 712, and that's all. And you just put in submit. Right. I've already put this order on, so that's if you want to modify it, if you want to make any changes to it, or you want to modify your stop, you can just click on that right there and it'll open up, and then you just put in the new price where you want to move your stop to. With this demo account, you can move the stop to, you can set your stop outside of market hours, because it's just a demo account. So you can do this, like set a time each night to do this just before the US market opens, and that's going to be how we're going to do it. So you got a color. I like to get people to use a color coded system like this. So you can keep track of what's what. So UWT, which is closed, for example, so that's red. DWT is a pending order, so that's yellow. We've got something like SVXY, that's still long from, hasn't been traded yet, so that's purple. So and that's still going, and you can have like dust here is Nugget was closed out, and dust is not. You're not able to put an order on this. You're not able to put an order on dust yet because it's still below the trender. So you just put an alert on or something just to remind you. But like what ones you've got pending and what ones were stopped out. So you just go through these really quick, and just as I said. Now we've added more ETFs. We were looking at 10. Now we're going to be looking at 20 in this study, 20 pairs. Right, so that's 40 charts altogether. And people make the mistake of thinking if you only have 10 things on your watch list, that's going to make it easier to manage. In actual fact, it's the opposite. It makes it harder because on those 10 things you might not have anything that's trading, so what people tend to do is force trades on it. So that's the biggest mistake you can make, is thinking. So if you have your watch list set up properly, it shouldn't be a problem to be able to manage a lot of charts very easily, and do your journaling properly, right? And you should be able to manage this very easily. So even with 20 pairs, it shouldn't be a problem. If it takes you any more than half an hour, then you're doing something seriously wrong. So I only want people to just don't get too hung up on this. It's just a psychological exercise. It's not about did you make money or did you lose money. It's nothing to do with it, right? We're looking at pulling the trigger on a trade. That's what this is about. Setting your limit order. You set it. You look at this once a day. You don't look at this while the market's open. You set it like at 8 o'clock at night, 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and make it the same time every night that you're going to look at it. You go through this list once, and you put your orders on or whatever, and you leave it be. You don't sit there agonising over it. You don't sit there fussing over it, right? You leave it alone, and you don't touch it. So we got all these. We looked at all these in the previous videos. These pairs are all the ones from previous. I changed EEM. I had EEM here. This is EDC and EDZ are the emerging market pairs. So I had changed that to EDC and EDZ. TNA is, so these are the new ones, TNA, TZA, Gush and Drip, FNGU and FNGD, that's the FANG stocks. Yin and Yang, Teckle and Tex, that's the FAS and FAS, TMF and TMV, GY3L and GY3S, that's Germany. DZK and DPK, TYD and TYO, and LabView and LabD. I think we'll just manage this. We'll manage all these on the daily and 4 hour. So we won't use the 4 hour, 2 hour to start with. So try, if you can't get daily and 4 hour set up on this, then just leave it. Don't worry about trading LabView and LabD. I only want you to use the daily and 4 hour only. And what else? So these are pretty easy to. Some of these like FNG, this is a FANG stock ETFs. These are a bit thinly traded. Might have a little bit of trouble. We wouldn't really trade these in reality, but I just I just made up a portfolio of 20 pairs just for the sake of this exercise. But some of these are too thinly traded to actually trade in reality. But you can see if you go to normal candles, you'll see the candles are really small and quite gappy, and that. So um, so just give it a go. It's about managing the portfolio and not just sitting there. People have a tendency to just they'll have a portfolio and they'll just tend to sit there and flip through charts without really seeing anything because they don't put in the time to manage the portfolio properly. So that's why you're not seeing any trades, because you're not putting the preparation, and when you do see a trade, you're not going to pull the trigger on it. This takes all the guesswork out of it because you're setting limit orders here and you're setting your stop and you're not doing anything. This is doing all the work for you. So when you get the condition to entry, so this was here we had an order on here on dust and it never got filled, and then we took the order off again here because it dropped back below the trender. So if we get an alert, if it breaks up to here like this and we get an alert on it, then we can put an order on once it's back above the trender. Right. And that's the way you manage it, because you don't want to have too many orders on, because it gets too hard to manage. So you only want to have it when it's in play. You only want to have an order on when something's in play. So now what about something like UGAS, where we got so if you're just coming into this today, we've got an order on UGAS here, so you could have entered it here on the daily 4 hour, right, last week, but we were playing around with the 4 hour, 2 hour last week and got chopped out a bit on that. So that's just the way it goes. You've got to take losses, and you're saying in hindsight what you should have done. You just leave it be, and you just trade it the best you can. If you enter here, right, you've got this is the daily. This is when it's going to be above the daily trend if this order gets filled here. So that's all. If you had entered here, you would have had your stop under here. So this would have still been going, because we're just coming to this. We've just come to this today. So yes, you can still put an order on if it's like this. Or sometimes you might think, oh, I've missed it now. I can't enter. That's not correct, because a lot of the time what I'll do is I'll put an order on here at the 4 hour, and then I'll put another order on here when it breaks above the daily, for example. I wouldn't in this case, because we're just looking at this as an exercise. It's not about whether you made money or lost money, as I said. And what else? So when you're trailing your stop up, you just click on that like that, and modify the price. You just put in whatever. Say the trend, come in and see this tomorrow. It's still long, and your order's been open, so you might be at $16 or something. So you just put in $16 here and modify order, and it'll come up. The stuff will come up. Right? The market doesn't have to be open. And so what else? That's about it, I think. And obviously the paper trading is here. We know that. We've looked at this before, and you can reset we've looked at resetting it and everything. What else can I look? That'll do for now. I think if I think of anything else, I'll show it in videos. We'll have a look at how these orders went. Sometimes they don't get filled or whatever, and that's just the way it goes. You're trying to just take the psychological issues out of trading. That's what I'm trying to do with this. All right, that'll do for now. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.